And welcome back to the crochetcrowd.com. Today is about learning how to Tunisian crochet. We're going to get you started on starting point for doing your Tunisian. Looks a lot like knitting, doesn't it? And basically it's a really easy way of crocheting, to be really quite honest with you. Now you'll notice that it's kind of rolling in like a scroll. That is part of the properties of Tunisian crochet. You'll always get the starting point doing that. But I'm going to show you some techniques. We're going to show you 3 different ways to get started. You can pick which one you like the best in order to help prevent that rule from going on. Why are you getting that? The reality is that you see these strings that are going down in the vertical direction. Those are pulling up, and because of that they're pulling up to make a scroll like so, and you'll see that the other side is very different. So you're going to be using a needle that, or a crochet hook that looks like this. There's a stopper on the one side, and just basically, if you've ever seen these in the store, these are Tunisian crochet hooks. So these are available in many different sizes, just like you would find conventional crochet hooks as well. So today's tutorial, and I want you to keep this sample because I'm going to be teaching you many different elements to Tunisian crochet using the same sample. So make sure if you're going to move up to the lessons that you keep your sample just to practice on. So we're going to be using Red Heart Chunky Super Saver today, and it's just, I find the thicker yarn is easier to do Tunisian crochet. That's just a personal preference for me, but you can obviously find what works for you. So let's begin right now. To get started, we're just going to create a slip knot as we normally would. We're going to wrap it around our fingers twice. So let me show you that one more time. So you put it in your hand, point like you're gossiping about somebody, wrap it twice, and then you pinch both of them down at the bottom. Okay, and now take the back over the forward, but don't take it up over the finger, and take the next one and push it up and over, and that is your slip knot, just like so. So there are slower tutorials available, and if you have to review, just stop me right here and just stop again. So it's really quite easy. We're just going to start off like we're chaining with crochet. So simply we just have a longer needle, and basically our work can go basically the whole concept of this needle if we wish. So here we go. So I'm just going to wrap the yarn and then bring it underneath. So we're just, I'm going to chain 20. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So I found with myself is, see where I'm holding the hook? It's almost like it's a balance point. So usually in crochet I'm really up close, but in this one here I find it, I'm in the middle of it so that I can keep it balanced. Just happens to be a personal preference for me. So I told you that I'm going to start off 3 different ways. I'm going to show you which one to start off with, and you can pick which one you like first, and there's advantages to all of it. So let's begin the first step right now. To begin Tunisian crochet, all you have to do is that you have to skip this first one, because if you go into that one to see where it's coming from there, so it's going to fall out. So you immediately just go and just grab the first string just like so. No big deal. Okay, and so basically you just can keep going, and you just pick a string and pull forward, and you keep adding more to your hook. So in, pull through, and add. So next chain, in, pull through, and add, in, and you keep picking them up as you go all the way across. So you can see I'm kind of moving it down like it's a clothesline, and obviously the more you get onto the needle, the little more harder it gets to push, but it's not anything to worry about. Now you see how I'm just kind of being really lazy about it, just being nice and loose. You want to maintain that. If you're too tight, you get that major rolling effect, just like so. So you'll find that experienced Tunisian people is that they don't have much of a roll comparison to maybe even myself that's just getting started with Tunisian, that I will have more of a significant roll. So it's like anything in life, you just have to practice. So we're just going all the way down, just picking up every one, and we go right to the last stitch. Okay, so this is the very last one here. Okay, and we pull it up. So to begin to Tunisian, all we have to do is that every line is basically back and forward. Like so, if I think I explained that in the first video, is that the one line of crochet is actually the back and forward motion. So that was the forward motion. So to go backward now, the first one we always just pull the yarn through the one loop only, just like so, and now we're ready to begin. So wrap the yarn and pull through 2. And you want to do that all the way back. So wrap and through 2, wrap and through 2, wrap and through 2. Now if you remember in the start of this video, do you remember there was a vertical line? It's right there. It's showing right up, and you're going to be playing with those. So wrap and 2. Could also be called yarn over and 2 if you wanted to. But again, you see it's really no big deal. Just taking my time. I find Tunisian actually to be very relaxing and almost therapeutic in some way. So I'm just continuing to go, and I do it until I get to one left on to the hook, just like so. So okay, so let's start another line. So this is very simple, and all we're just going to do to start the next line, we simply just move the hook to the first one that's vertical. So you see all these vertical lines, you just want to go in behind the first one. So this vertical is with this one, so you don't have to include that one. You go to the next one, and you just slip in behind, pull the yarn through and up. So next one, so. I find that when the needle is, or the hook is held in the middle, because there's a better balancing point like this, I find that my tension is less versus getting too close to the material. So you can see the material is growing just perfectly, and you can see that the roll that I talked about, that I promised would happening, is starting to happen. And again, that is part of the properties of Tunisian. How to get rid of that at the end is that you might want to do a border around your Tunisian project, whether it's an afghan or a scarf, in order just to make sure that the entire outside is going to be sitting flat. So the outside edges of this will always be sitting flat. It's just the top and the bottom may have a slight roll to it. And we go all the way to the end. Now here's on the end, you don't want to go into one string, you literally want to get into 2 of them. So just like it's a chain. And so then we grab the yarn and pull through. So to begin again, so that was the forward motion, and so to begin the backward motion, we just wrap the yarn, pull through 1 only, and now we begin wrap and through 2, yarn over and 2, same thing, wrap and 2, yarn over and 2. It's the same thing. I'm just trying to educate you there because I say things differently. So just wrap and through. And that would be how you begin your Tunisian. And I'm going to show you another way to get started. So we're going to take it back to the chain again, of the chaining of 20, and I'm going to start again, and I'm going to show you another concept in order to kind of help you get it. And the next concept is what I would do if it were me. But I wanted to show you this way because this is showing in many different other videos as well as Tunisian crochet books. Okay, so I'm back again. I've got a new chain on my hook here, and I'm about to show you what I would do. So this would be me, and this is as per Della Wilkins. So in the last section there, I told you to come into the top chain just like so. No big deal, you can decide whatever you want. But do you realize that the chain actually has 3 strings? It has 1, 2, and then it has this bump that's on the back. So what I would do is I would turn, once you turn it over, that it'll stay turned over. So it's just really easy. So you're just going to look for the first bump that's in the back. Okay, do you see that? So, and then pull the yarn through and collect it. So just look for the next bump. Do you see how it's just sticking right up at you? And what this is doing is it's turning the chain upside down so that you end up with a gorgeous finishing edge on the bottom, just like it would be for regular crochet. So go into the bump and collect. So you're just collecting as we go. So there is a third way as well, which I'm going to demonstrate in just a few moments. But I would do this, plus I would do what I'm going to show you in the third demonstration, is that it helps prevent the roll. So what this is doing is instead of grabbing it by the 1 string, it's allowing the bottom edge to stay facing down versus being pulled up by 1 string. As soon as you pull anything, if there's always 2 strings in balance to like a teeter-totter, as soon as you only pull one side down, you know, you don't have balance. But if you've got 2 people pulling on both sides, then you have balance. And I would describe this as being like the teeter-totter, where you got the string going through the back side, so therefore the other 2 are in balance. I don't know where I come up with these analogies, but I need to write a book. So I'm just coming all the way back to the end, and maybe this was a little bit slower to get started, but this is the only part that is different. So you're collecting it by the back. And now, so essentially what you're going to want to do at this point, just like we did already, is that you're going to want to just start up again. So we're just going to wrap and pull through one only, and then wrap and through two, wrap and through two, wrap, or yarn over and two if you prefer to hear it that way, but it's just wrapping through two. And so you end up with a really gorgeous edge, and I have my other sample I just did, which I'm happy to share with you in just a second. So I come all the way back, and you can see that the vertical lines that are there are ready to use. So there's no difference in the way that you're looking at it. So it's just a very simple concept in order to do that. So if I just put, so there you go. I have my work there, and it looks the same as the last one that I just did. Okay, so you still have your vertical lines. So this is the third method that I would do. So I would do what I just did, but this is what I would do. So remember in the very first part of this video is that when we went to restart, we came in through the front, and what that's going to do is that you can see that this already is wanting to roll forward. You see how these the chain is kind of rolling in a forward direction? Well, how we can avoid that is that now this time we're going to turn the project around. So I'm just going to come in, and there's a vertical line in the back and the front. And what I want to do is that I want to come in to the one that's at the back, grab the yarn, just like so. Actually, I don't like the way that I grabbed that, so I'm going to try again. So I'm just going to grab the yarn and pull it through like that. And so essentially, instead of grabbing these front ones, I'm just turning around and getting the back one. And what this is doing, this is purling. So as you can tell in knitting, when you purl, it kind of bends the material in the opposite direction. So this is a great way to start off your edges in order to really have balance on your edges, because you have one line that is pulling forward, and now this one's going to pull it backward, and this will help give it stability in the end. So again, I'm just grabbing from the back. I don't know if you need to see the entire process, but I'm just coming around the back, just looking for the vertical lines that are around the back side. So can carry on, and I'll meet you back up in just a sec, and we'll carry on from that point. So I've come all the way down, and I will be very honest with you, this was a very slow process in order to get this to go. But look, there's no flexing, there's no bending, there's no weird stuff going on. So the extra time that I have spent here is worth it. So I have my last stitch to go, and this is just like we showed before. You have to go into the chaining. So grab it, make sure there's 2 strings. I know you can't see that there's 2, but there's 2. And so we just grab it and pull it up like so. So to begin to go backward, this is the same way, is that we are going to wrap and pull through one only, and now we're going to wrap, pull through 2, and wrap and 2, wrap and 2, wrap and 2, just like that. So in the next part of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to finish off. So if you wanted to finish off these projects, you will notice that there's going to be a gap. You see, like a chain gap. And so when you're doing this particular work, is that the forward direction is actually how you're going to fasten off. A lot of people think that you would just like finish off right here and you'd be done with it, but then you end up with a line that looks like this. So to finish off, it's just like I've kind of already showed you. So we simply just, it doesn't matter whether you're going to purl, so you go either, because you can see that there's 2 strings on here, the front and the back, so you can do it from the front, the back, it doesn't matter. But we're going to grab the yarn, pull it through, and single crochet ourselves all the way back across like so. So basically this will fill in that gapping space, almost like it looks like an empty ladder, and this particular step will fill it all in so that it looks more consistent and full versus what you're going to have if you finish it off too soon. So I'll get to the end and just hang on a second. So I'm coming all the way to the end, and again the last stitch is in the chain, so make sure you got the 2 strings, pull through, and then voila, and you'd be done. So this concludes today's video. In the next video I'm gonna show you something really cool, because I want you to keep your samples just like you see here, because we're gonna continue to build your skills based on the sample that you see on screen. So join me next time as we do another fabulous edition here of learning how to Tunisian crochet. We'll see you.